Hey everyone, it's Annette from ASCardDesign. I want to welcome you to the live stream, or if you're joining me on the replay, thank you for joining. And I'm just going to get right down to this. We're going to make a quick, simple card. Well, I hope it's quick. The technique is simple, but you never know how these live streams go. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch the camera to the worktop view, and I will show you. We're going to use some products from GinaK. We're going to be using these these premium dye inks, and we're going to be pouncing the ink onto the cardstock. And this is not my creation. I have to give credit where credit's due. I came across a YouTube channel. Her channel is, I believe it's NB Cards. I'll put a link down in the description. But basically, it's just a piece of press and seal. But I imagine you could use cling wrap or saran wrap. And it has a half a sheet of paper towel just wadded up, and you just make this little, you encase the paper towel, and I used a piece of craft twine, or you can use ribbon, and you just make this cute little pouncer. And what it does is it creates these little variations, and that'll put a cool design onto our cardstock. So what I'm starting with is a piece of 65-pound weight cardstock, and this is just cut to 4 by 5 1/4 because we are going to die cut it later to the size of a panel. And I'm going to be using GinaKDesigns Master Layouts 2 for the die cutting, but you don't need to have that. You can just cut it using a paper trimmer to the size, excuse me, of a panel, which is 3 3/4 by 5 inch. So let's just go ahead and get started. And one little tip when blending inks, you do want to pay attention to like the rainbow and colors that follow along like next to each other in the rainbow, or color families. They kind of blend well together. So if you think of the rainbow, Roy G. Biv, you know, the yellow's going to come first, then the green, and then the blues and the violets. So I'm going to lay down my ink in that order. So we're going to start with the yellow, the green, and then the blue. So let's get started. Now this yellow is called Wild Dandelion, and I have a glass mat, but you can use really a piece of foil or any hard surface, and just put a little bit of ink down. You don't need a lot, okay? And then you're going to spritz it with some water. These are water reactive inks, so they kind of blend with the water and thin out. You can use, good morning, darling. You can use rubbing alcohol if you're using like alcohol inks. But anyway, so I just put some yellow, this Wild Dandelion, down onto my mat. And I'm just going to take my little handmade pouncer and just grab up some ink. And if it's really heavy onto it doesn't look like it's a lot, but it will come down real strong on the paper. But you can just pounce it out a little bit. I like to start light and add if I need more. But let me get my camera in here tighter here so you can see what I'm doing. It might be hard to see, but I am going to just come in on the corner and put in some yellow. And I believe you can see that. Darlene, can you hear me okay? I always like to do a sound check, and I never know how these things go. So let me know in the comment. Just put a yay or an A. And that would really be helpful. So once we're done with the yellow, I'm just going to wipe it up. I hope you're recuperating and recovering. It sounds like everything's going beautifully. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Been thinking about you. All right, so next we're going to lay down the green ink. Okay, and again, just spray it with a little bit of water. I always put way too much ink than I need, and this dries on the panel very fast because we're just using a little bit. So just pick up some of the green, and then I'm just going to pounce it into the center. And actually, that's all I'm going to do. Sometimes less is more. So we're kind of just building up a line of color. And then we'll put our next color down here in the corner. All right, this is a hot, heavy color. This one, oh, let me go back. The green was called Grass Green. And then this is Blue Denim. Fun names for these colors. Hit it with some water. You see how it reacts with the water? It's so cool. Let me just turn this around. All right, the blue denim comes in pretty dark. So let's just see what that looks like. Actually, I'm just gonna stop there. I'm just trying to create like a soft background because we're gonna do some die cutting, and we're gonna do that next, I believe. All right, so let me get these inks out of the way. And I'm gonna just set this aside. It's pretty much almost dry, but I'm just gonna set it aside. We are gonna do die cutting next. Now, I'm really trying my best to use up supplies that I have. It's so easy to go down the rabbit hole. I watch a lot of crafting videos, and you know, there are always new products, and of course you want them all, but I have plenty and I just need to use them. So I was going through my stash, and sure enough, I don't even know when, but I bought this. It's from Fawn, and I saw someone using this and I loved it, and I bought it, and I've never used it. So today I'm busting this out. But what it does is it makes these cute little envelopes. Aren't they cute? And then it has this other die that cuts out a little sheet of paper. Good. Yeah, I'm sure you're feeling that. But you know what? I work in healthcare, obviously, and those exercises are so important. And as you know, even keeping them up after PT, that's your road to recovery. Our patients that do those exercises diligently, even when they don't want to, recover the fastest and do very well afterwards. So you go, girl, you got it. Okay, so we're gonna do some die cutting. I'm gonna cut out a different envelope because I was just practicing with this cardstock, but we're not gonna use that. So we are going to use all these little bits and pieces here. And this is the die that will cut the envelope. And then we're going to use the letter cutting die. And I'm also going to use, oh, why not? Let's just really use this set. I'm going to use the heart die, and then there's this cute little fountain pen with these little, these will cut out bars that fit in here. So I'm going to do the pen in like a silver cardstock, and then I'm going to do the bars in like a black glitter. And then we'll put all those pieces together, and then hopefully we'll have a card to put together. So it shouldn't take us too long. Sometimes my brain, I have to like really stop and think what I'm doing, but here we go. Yeah, that's what they tell you. They know what they're doing. PT really knows. That's the road to recovery right there. And yeah, aren't these cute? This little set is so cute. So I have this paper pad in my stash as well. I have pulled some papers from it, but I just love the designs. Now, a lot of it, it's just not for me. I mean, I'm not, whoops, that's upside down. But, you know, you could cut these out and put them on card fronts, but I don't know. But I like more of the patterns. There's some tags you can cut out. Like, I love this polka dot, but, you know, on the back, there's some of these, and that's okay because I'll never use these, but I will use this. But I wanted to find a piece of paper in this pack that I could use both sides because as you see from the envelope, let me grab this out again. Once the envelope is made, we're going to see both sides of it. We're going to see the inside and the outside. So I just need to decide which side I want in or out. I think I want this on the outside, and I'm going to put this peeking out from the inside. So what I want to do is I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. I believe this way. I'm not even sure. So let's just bring that up and give it a try. I'm going to bring my die cutting machine in here, and if you've watched me before, whether it's live, I haven't done many lives, but if you've watched me before, my floor is just, that's the catch-all during my crafting videos, and I call it the crafter mass. When I'm done, it's a total mess by the time I get done. All right, let me get all my pieces out here so I don't lose them. So those will come next. And then this is the die cutting and embossing machine. So what this does is you're gonna roll it through, and there's rollers in here, and the pressure will cut out the cardstock. So we'll just go ahead and get that started. I hope I have this set the right way. We're soon going to find out. And then that's the die cut piece. So I wanted this on the outside, I said. So yeah, that'll work. So then it makes the score lines for you when you die cut. And I know it's really hard to see, but oh, there you can see it. So let's go ahead and glue this because I want it to set and dry before we move on. Is that the right side? Yeah, that's the right side. Okay, so the next thing, we'll just go ahead and glue this down. And I'm using liquid glue, but you could use like double-sided tape, but I don't know. Because I have some time, I'm just gonna glue this down. And I'm just gonna go like that. And I was really messy there. I went way outside the lines with the glue. So I'm just gonna wipe that off. Then, let me take this little tool and flatten everything. All right, and then I have my very heavy stone owl. I'm just gonna set him on there so that glue can set. And then we're gonna continue die cutting. So these other little pieces are so cute. The pen, wait till you see that. I was practicing because like I said, I've never used this set before, but I really liked it. So I also want to die cut a little heart, and I'm going to do the heart. I'm going to try this. I don't know if it'll work, but I want to put a little heart on the outside of that envelope, but this design is not real tiny, and the heart is tiny. So I don't know what this is going to look like. It might not look too good. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. Let's see. Ugh, those are hard to get off. It's just a sweet little heart. I'm gonna save that. There is another heart die. I'm gonna do another heart a little bit bigger because it might catch more of that design. So let's try that. Thanks for joining, Darlene. I'm so glad you're here. I always like it when somebody joins because then I can, it's just nice to talk to somebody, and then I can also see if the sound is working. I'm not very tech savvy, and my brother Mike came down and helped me when I first did my live, but he's not here. He lives up in Akron, so I'm flying solo. Whoops. So we're going to save the larger heart and see. Okay, let me corral up these dies and move on to the pen. I think I'm done with that paper for now. So the pen die is here, and I want to do that out of silver. So I have some scrap silver metallic cardstock, and I hope this cuts through. I don't know if I have enough pressure. Sometimes the metallics and the silver, or the metallics and the glitter cardstock, you need a little bit more pressure. Oh, I think it came out perfectly. Good. Little frayed edge there, but not neat. I don't know if you can see the detail, but it'll come alive once we put the glitter detail in. So here is just a piece of like it's gray or like a smoky glitter cardstock. And I do know with glitter cardstocks you do need more pressure. So what I like to do is put another piece of cardstock underneath the glitter, and then we'll cut. And that should, gosh, I have dies everywhere. Let me rally these up. That should cut through. So let's see. Fingers crossed. Oh yeah, thanks. I appreciate that, and I do too, because the bigger heart, that's going to go on the front of the envelope. It just has more of the hearts, or the flower detail. So I probably will definitely go with that. All right, let's see what we got here. I hope this cuts through. It's always a gamble. Sometimes you have to finagle them. But I think we're going to be okay. I'm going to take a pair of scissors because I just have this one edge that did not want to break loose. Oops. It's so hard with these little pieces. The name of the game now is not to lose them in the mix. So what I'm going to do is I have this little bird dish, and I'm just going to get the frayed edges off from the die cutting. Sometimes it moves, the paper moves, and then the the paper shifts, and then you have a little pieces of fray, but that's okay. We can deal with that. All right, and then lastly, we're going to cut the letter. I like the bling too. We're not done with bling. I have a really cool technique I'm going to do to the heart later, and it's this pen called Wink of Stella, and it's a glitter pen, but when it dries, the glitter doesn't fall off. So it's really cool, and it dries like instantly. So you can brush it on. I'm going to brush it onto the heart, and then it will shine. Let's see. Let me grab another piece of cardstock. I'm going to do the letter in this cream color instead of white. I just think it'll be a little bit softer because that's going to pop out of the envelope. Okay. And I mean, come on. Isn't that adorable? Let's get our envelope out here. It is definitely dry, but this is going to go on the front of the card with the envelope. We're going to stamp a little greeting on there, but the envelope's going to, or the paper's going to peek right out of it. It kind of loses a little bit of the design, but then the heart will go on here. So I think that's my plan. All right, we're going to put this away for now, but we're going to come back for more die cutting when we're ready to cut our panel and our matte layer. But for right now, let's put these elements together. Let me put this off to the side. And paper. I'm already creating a total mess here. So let's do the more intricate thing first, because I'm gonna probably struggle with that. And we will make some space. Let me bring this in. All right, so we have this pen, and then we have these two pieces. And I'm gonna put some glue onto. This is just a highlight. I'm gonna have to turn this way. And I'm gonna try not to get my big old fat head in the way, but I do have to, I'm gonna bring this down as much as I can while still keeping it in the camera. But I do have to kind of get right on it. Okay, so that's where we're going with that. Isn't that cool? And then we'll put the smaller piece. Oh, I can't even pick it up. Smaller piece, come on you. Goes down here. Now, it does have, I don't know if you can see this. See the little white on the corner? I don't like that. I'm going to maybe ruin this. Or will it even matter? Ah, I wish I had a gray pen. All I have is black, but you know what? I'm going for it. I'm just gonna put a tiny little black. That's not gonna work because black is gonna really show up. I think I'm just gonna leave it. I think I'm gonna leave it. I'll probably be the only one that notices it in the end. Let's just get it down and see. And just make sure it's straight. And that's our pen. I have light coming from every angle, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but that's our pen. So number one, and then let's go ahead and get this heart down, and then we'll do our cool little technique on it. I just love Wink of Stella. I'll never forget when I was watching a crafting video, this was maybe a year or so ago, somebody was using it and I'm like, what? Wink of Stella? I never heard of that. Like, what is this? And that's what it was. And it was so cool. Okay. So that's our sweet little heart, our sweetheart. All right, now I'm gonna do this, and I think you'll be able to see it. Let me do it on the scrap paper here, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna take this blue heart, and it's just a brush. I think it's coming on there. Yeah. And it will dry clear, and it will dry glittery. Let's find, there it is. You see that? That is so cool. Okay, so here we go. We're just gonna color the whole heart. I'm just shaking this so the, we are, totally agree with that. Guilty as charged. Okay, so I'm gonna color the heart. And I really love this pen because you don't have to be perfect. Just give it a good coating. And then, let's see, let me try to catch it. It's gonna be hard. Well, there you can see, it's a lot of shimmer. You can really see it up close, but well, you know, you can see it, you can get the idea. It just adds a little something to the card. So that's Wink of Stella, okay? All right, so we have our pen. Let me get him in the bird dish. We have our little envelope. And now we have our little letter. So let's go ahead and stamp. I'm gonna stamp on the letter. And I'm using, this is called a Misti tool. Oh good, I'm glad you can see it. This is a Misti stamping platform, and it's a stamping positioner, I don't know, but if you need to double stamp, everything stays in the same spot so you don't get like a shadow or misstamp or double stamp. So we're gonna do that, and what I wanna show you too, darling, this is so cool. This is, inside here, I have this, it's like a gel mat. It's called a grip mat, and it will hold your cardstock down so it doesn't move. But I just don't trust anything. So I always have tape on here. I'm just going to tape it just to make sure in case I need to stamp it again. So I have this little stamp set. Let me bring this in. This is called Blooming Sunflower from GinaKDesigns, and I really love this stamp set. It's this color because I've used it a lot. The ink, you clean the stamps off. The ink, some inks have more pigment, so they'll stain the stamp, but they're fine. I've not used any of these greetings, which is surprising. I have a ton of birthday greetings, but I really like the font on these. But I'm just gonna stamp Hello Friend on this, and I do want to get this kind of up. Let me use this sample as a guide because this is going to go in here, and I do want the greeting to peek out just a little bit. So I think if we go there, that is just going to be perfect. And then I do have to lift this up to look to make sure it's straight. And then we just drop the door and pick up the stamp on the door. And then I'm using black ink for this. This is called Black Onyx. And with these, you just want light amount of ink because you can stamp it more than once if you need and just press down lightly. if at all, because you don't want to squish those letters. And that's what you get. And Gina's stamps are so nice and such high quality that so many times it's one and done. So that's why I like her products. They're very high quality. And then I'm just going to put this back. We're almost done. I think we just have to die cut the, where's my little pick tool? We just need to die cut the panels and then glue the card together. Okay, put all that away later. And here is our panel. And then this will go in our little envelope like that. And then once we're going to die cut the panel and the matte layer next, and then this is going to go right on the front. So it'll be a simple card, and then we'll put the pen somewhere. So let's go ahead and die cut the next 2 layers, which are, let me pull these in, which are these. We're going to use this color for the matte layer, and then this will be the front. I think those will look good together. And then, like I said earlier, I'm going to use these dies to cut the layers, but you don't need to have dies to cut layers. You need a paper cutter or a ruler with a not a Sharpie, an X-Acto knife or a knife, a craft knife. And then your panel, I like my panels 3 1/4 inches by 5, and my mats are 4 inches by 5 1/4. So whatever size your panel, I always like to cut the panel first, and whatever size the panel is, for the matte layer, just go up like 1/4 inch. And then when you center it, it'll be a nice 1/8 inch border all the way around. That's just an easy way. But even easier is if you have dies that cut those layers. So let's see, we're going to use these 2 dies. The larger one will be the matte layer, and then this one will be the panel, and it has a nice stitched edge. So let's bring in the die cutting machine again. And once we get these cut, we'll just glue the card together, and that'll be a wrap. And you can all get on with your day. All right, so let's see. Let me zoom back out a little bit. So the nice thing about having a die to cut your panel is you can position it wherever you want. So you can crop the best part of your ink blending. And down here it's kind of smudgy, so I am gonna pull it up a little bit, so I like that. And then I am gonna tape this in place, just so it doesn't shift when I run it through. And then you can see that's the panel. And I really love that stitched edging around it. It just makes it a little more special, a little more interesting. So that's that. And then we have the matte layer. And I'm not gonna tape this down because it really doesn't matter. I'm just gonna lay the die down somewhere. This is just a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. So it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That size is big enough where you could cut panels and matte layers. So it's a good starting point. And then we have our matte layer is just, it does not have a stitched edge. So I like the stitched edging because it just, like I said, when you put it together, it really stands out. All right. Oh my goodness. I think I need to strengthen my arms. I need to do my exercises, Darlene. I used to be so good about exercising like in my 20s and 30s, even my 40s, and maybe 50s. But now it's like, I gotta make myself do this. Before it was kind of fun, and now it's not so much fun. All right, so let's start gluing. I have a card panel, or a a card base, I should say. And this is just a half a sheet of cardstock, 8.5 by 11, just cut in half. And this is 110 pounds. So if you're not a crafter, that just means it's heavier weight. It'll stand up nicely when you're, you know, standing up your card. These are lighter weights because they don't need to be heavier weight. They're just, we call them layering weight. That's what we do with them. We layer them. All right, so I am just going to glue this down and just center it onto the mat best you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's going to measure it. And then this will get glued onto the card base. And you could use a different colored card base. I use white a lot, but you know, I just thought this would be a nice, clean, simple card. I know everything gets harder, right? Everything is a little bit more effort. But you know, sometimes I think, why did I pick a hobby? Because I've only been doing this a couple years. Why did I pick a hobby that doesn't require much movement? But you know, one thing I do not do when I'm crafting, I stand. I don't sit. Did I say that right? One thing I don't do is sit. So I do stand up. I know it's not, I'm still not moving, but I sit enough during my day during work. So I honestly can't craft sitting down. Like, everything is a little too close, it just doesn't feel right. So for me, I gotta stand when I craft. All right, so let's see where we're gonna put this. So right now, this is what we have. This is our card. Okay, and then we have our focal image. That's gonna go in the center. And I can either put it straight on or angle it. And then remember, we have this pen. It's gonna go in here somewhere. It can peek out like that. What do you think? Straight or angled? Now, the background's angled, so maybe it would be nice to, I don't want to angle it the same way, maybe the opposite way or straight. Opinion from the galley. And then maybe the pen on a little bit of an angle underneath, or I could put it on top. I kind of like that. If I do that though, there's a big dip and I might have to put foam squares on the bottom. I'd kind of just like to glue it to the card directly. I think I'm going to put it on an angle here. Okay. So all we have to do is glue the back side of the envelope, not the flap, because we want the flap to be free floating. Angled. All right. I agree. And you know, the only bad thing is either way, we're covering up the green, but that's okay. That happens a lot when you lay ink down and then you build your designs. You end up covering up some of it, and you just have to be okay with that. Yeah, Darlene, you know what? I wish all my patients had your gumption, because, you know, it's just important for all of us. Like, we might have a situation that we're going through, but it's not game over till it's over. You just got to push yourself, set a goal, do what you need to do to get in. Don't let anything get in the way of your goals. Like, if you want, you know, if a walker's in your story for the rest of your life, so be it. But sometimes it has to be, but if it doesn't have to be, and if there's something you can do about it, then I think you should at least try. It's not always easy. Anything worth anything in this life is not easy to attain. You just gotta work for it. I'm gonna put the pen right there because I don't want to get out the foam squares and do all that. But there you go. There's the shine. You can definitely see the wink of Stella on the heart. It just really adds a lot. I really like it. And then this can come out so cute. And, you know, maybe the person will put it like that on their table when they get it. But they could definitely leave it in there. But I just think it's a sweet little card. I love making these. But the pen is super cute. Good. But that's it. That's the live for today. I don't even know how long we've been going. I have this software, I guess 36 minutes, but that's it. I want to thank you for joining me. I'm going to turn you loose so you can go about your day. I'm going to clean up my craft room. It's a mess. The floor around me is a total mess, even though I didn't use a whole lot of products. But anyway, I'm going to end it here. So thank you for joining me, and I'll try to do another live. I don't do them every Saturday, but I'll advertise when I do. It just all depends on what I'm doing in my schedule. But I do post a video it's a scheduled video every Wednesday at 1 p.m. On my YouTube channel here. So thanks for joining, and I hope you liked this card. Thank you, darling. I know it's so cute. It's so sweet. And sometimes you don't need a lot of things on a card. You know, sometimes less is best. So, all right, till next time, have a great week. Have a great day.